Hey, y'all. This is for all you folks that maybe aren't so religious that are watching my channel for whatever reason. I don't know why you'd be still watching it, but it is what it is. Um, so, here are some thoughts to consider setting aside religion and setting aside ethnicity. Um, Jews versus the Palestinian Arabs. Um, so, here's the deal. Like, you think about it, the Jews have contributed technology, economic wealth, um, quality quality products, quality food. Kosher food is great. They have contributed to education and 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 industry all over the world, everywhere. They have grown an economic hub in the Middle East where there was not one before because they went there. Okay, and it's very obvious that they're the ones that are doing it. And if you think about this analytically and compare it to Palestinians, right? Um, they have not contributed to the world for the most part. Okay, I'm not going to say that there aren't Palestinian scientists, but in comparison to what the Jews have given the world, it's a very, very, very small amount to the point that if they were gone, it would be unnoticeable. Okay, and I'm not saying that to be racist. I'm just saying it because it's fact. You know, the Palestinians do not sell food or create quality food to ship all over the world. They do not create quality technology. When was the last time they invented something that got major like Google or Facebook? Never. Um, so some of the claims that the world would be better off without Jews in it, and some of the claims that the world would be better if Hamas was ruling Israel and all this and that stuff. It's dangerous in that you're going to those individuals that believe that want to set humanity back in technology 500 to 1,000 years by doing so. Okay. And they want to slow the economic growth of the entire world and the technological growth of the entire world by orders of like 100 magnitude. It's phenomenally stupid thing to do to humanity to get rid of Jews. That's like, no, absolutely not. They make fantastic things. They're excellent inventors. They're intelligent folks. There's something to do with the brain plasticity with Jews that just stays till old age. Like I can't keep up. Like I'm 40 now. I used to be able to think like all kinds of stuff when I was younger, but it's just not. It's not a thing that everybody else has, but the Jews have it. Okay, maybe that's because they try harder. Maybe that's because they work harder. I don't think that's the case. I have tried hard. I have worked hard in my life, 60, 70, 90 hours a week. I have done that. It didn't get me anywhere but pay the bills for a couple years, and then it's gone. So, um, so as far as I'm concerned, there's something very special with the Jews and what they're able to do. And yes, I do think that God has blessed them. You would be stupid not to think that, considering what they've given to humanity. Um, but aside from the religious parts, you need to weigh the economic options before you get all uppity and take one side or the other. Because the reality of it is if you support the underdog in this case, they're going to destroy the world as it is and the good of the world as it is that we have allowed to grow for the last 80 years or so. Okay. And if you want to set the world as a whole back technologically, go right on ahead. Attack the Jews. You're doing an absolute stupid thing for humanity, and everybody's going to hate you in the long term for it. That's all I've got to say about that. It's stupid. Don't attack Jews. Support them. Okay? Go work for them. Most of the time, they treat you pretty good. All you got to do is be nice, and that's really not that hard. Of course, I will say this: the there is sometimes where it's difficult to deal with abrasive personalities, and because Jews deal with so many hateful folks, it makes their personalities somewhat abrasive sometimes. So you'll have to have extra patience, but it's worth it. They will treat you good. So y'all have a good one, and think really honestly think about you know like what side you want to take, because this is not something that's gonna just slow down. You know, I hate to say this, but the Palestinians have prepared for years, probably ever since Hamas got in power for this. They've probably been working on the technology to build the rockets in Gaza for ever since they got elected. You know, and and they've spent their time, whether in prison or out of prison, studying military tactics. All this time has been preparation time. So they're not going to stop, and neither are the Palestinian civilians, because Hamas is dressed in civilian clothing. Okay? They are the civilians. That's what everybody doesn't understand. Hamas is the civilian. They are civilians. They're no different from the Palestinian people. That's the same. It's the same thing. And if you think I'm kidding, think again. Wait till you see what happens with the rest of this war. You know, you'll have a Hamas member die, drop their machine gun, and a civilian will go over there and pick it up. I guarantee it'll happen more than once. So, I mean, heck, there might be civilians standing by when they kill a Jew and they pick up a Jewish weapon. Okay, that can happen. That type of thing does happen in war. Okay, and the Palestinians are a hateful group. They teach it from young children. As far as I understand, the Jews are the most tolerant group I've ever met in the world. I mean, they do have verbal, um, not ethnic hatred toward different groups because of the way they've been mistreated and stuff, and they do have religious hatred because of the way they've been treated by different groups and because of religious reasons. But they don't teach absolute destruction of any ethnicity. Anybody has been that is willing to discuss with them, sit down and negotiate, they do negotiate with. But the ones that don't want to negotiate and have proven themselves repeatedly over and over that they don't want to negotiate, and their leaders don't want to negotiate, and the individuals don't want to negotiate, they can't do anything with. So we have what we have here. We've got a war that will not end until that particular organization is put down hard. Put them down under the ground, 100%. You know, and that's all you can do with it. So, um, you know, it's there's nothing humanitarian about it, because the Palestinian side is not treating anybody like a human. They're not treating their own humanely because they're using them as body shields. They're not treating the Jews humanely, and not only that, but they're biting the hand that feeds them. It glows them. Like how do you put up with that? There is no country in the world that puts up with that. So if the Jews want to kill them because they got attacked, okay, I don't have a problem with it. Kill them to the last man, woman, and child. I don't care. You know, it's long overdue. They've proven themselves for 100 years that they will fight and kill Jews unprovoked just because they exist. Okay? There are other countries in the world that do that. but the majority of us do not. At least not consistently all the time, every single day. Okay? That's not our main goal in life. And most of us would rather have Jews as our neighbors than somebody else that's worse. We definitely don't want Muslims as neighbors. So it is what it is. We got to let the Jews win this war, and we got to help them to win, and we have to give them food when they need it, and military equipment when they need it, and whatever other resources they need. Because if we don't, then the world is going to be a much darker place. It'll be a dark, dark place without Jews. Trust me on that. Because they are the ones that shout for moral justice the most. Okay? And if you don't think that makes a big difference, try living somewhere where there's no Jews.